Edition of AM Sports coming to you on NT Sports 24. Badi Adile, and of course it's always interesting to have you on every edition of the show. And of course we're reaching you from the Moshood Abiola National Stadium here in Abuja, and today's edition of the program promises to be very much interesting. Alright, we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to the show today, and of course we will open the phone lines for you to be part of it. So these and many more we've got to enjoy on the show today. Once again, thank you for joining us. Let's go on this quick break. When we return, it will be time to take a look at the papers. Glad to know you're still there, and of course straight away we'll be taking the newspaper review segment. But before we do that, join me in welcoming my special guest on the show today, and of course Pius Idoko, a sports journalist based here in Abuja, and of course is the media officer of Greenlock Football Club Abuja. Welcome, Pius. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Quite interesting. And I can confirm that, Pius just returned from AFCON 2023. How was the experience, Pius?
Yeah, amazing. Fantastic experience. Cote d'Ivoire, they had very good organization. Yeah, of course, we saw everything that played out. The management, I must say kudos to the main organizing committee, and of course the local organizing committee of the recently concluded Africa Cup of Nations. They did a great job. Kudos to the Ivorians, and kudos to CAF as well for being able to map out strategy that will ensure that we have a very successful 2023 AFCON Championship in Cote d'Ivoire.
All right, that's quite beautiful. And of course, we'll still talk more about Pius's experience in Cote d'Ivoire, in the course of the show. Without wasting time, let's go for the newspaper review segment. Alright, many thanks for joining us, and on the show today we'll be reviewing two newspapers, but let's begin with the Sporting Sun, and of course it's got loads of interesting highlights there. By the masthead, we've got Messi gifts Barca Museum. Barca Museum is 8th Ballon d'Or trophy. Okay, quite nice of him. And of course, Guardiola apologizes to Phillips for overweight comments. Neymar throws final dig at Mbappe, and of course Undoran plays down Barca chances in UEFA Champions League. Barca keen on the year soap. Wow. Remember, the man has been out of, he's got no club since he left Manchester United last season. Mbappe to earn a stunning 128 million pounds sign-on fee. Come on, that's huge, and of course really interesting to see that. So Pius, let's quickly take a look at some of these headlines. Let's begin with Mbappe. 128 million, that is huge. Yeah, he's made for life.
Yes, I mean, it's huge. Of course, that is what it means to play for a club like Real Madrid. 128 million. I will say Kylian Mbappe is deserving of it.
Okay.
Judging by what he has done in time past, he's still has that rich vein of form to move to Real Madrid. And you do know for sure that Real Madrid, whenever they need a player, they go for him, regardless of whatever fee that is placed on that player. They are ready to cough it out, and that's exactly what they are doing. I mean, the likes of Kylian Mbappe, to find a player in the mold of Kylian Mbappe is rare. So when you have one, you can can actually break the bank to go for such a player, knowing what he will be bringing into the team. So I think he's very, very deserving of earning the kind of fee they've thrown at him. Kylian Mbappe, everybody reckons with him. So I don't think I have any reservations about the fee, the sign-on fee that has been placed on Kylian Mbappe.
All right, let's look at some other headlines. Guardiola. We return to the other headline, the upper part, and of course it does say Guardiola apologizes to Phillips for overweight comments.
I think that should be Calvin Phillips, I guess.
Yes. The player said it really affected, his confidence after the coach told him, and he said it was just over by a few pounds.
Oh yes, Calvin Phillips. I recall when he actually broke into the scene was when he represented England in the 2021 Euro Championship. Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice, these were the two revelations for England at that tournament, if you ask me. He was with Leeds United, doing very well before the manager then gave him, they invited him to come play for the Three Lions. And since he moved from that league, since he's played for England, he caught the eyes of Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, after the tournament, Pep Guardiola signed him, even though he wasn't really getting the chance to play as regularly as he would want to. Maybe that was what affected him, and then he added a little bit of pound, and then he grew, had a little bit of weight and all of that. I don't think that Pep Guardiola want to troll the player intentionally. Maybe he spoke to him politely, and the player, blew it, took it overboard. You never can tell. But I do think for sure, as a manager who knows what he wants to achieve, as a manager who knows his onions, he doesn't need to hold back. He has come out to apologize that if what I said was wrong, please, I'm sorry about it. And I think Calvin Phillips should be able to.
What I was just trying to get yesterday was the sincerity of the apology, and to me it looked sincere.
Yeah.
Let's hope Guardiola wasn't being sarcastic at that moment of answering that question. And of course, it's not been the best of starts for Phillips. At West Ham United, he got red carded last weekend, and he's been struggling. But it wasn't sold, it was just loaned out with no buy option.
Yes.
Let's take a look at other headlines. Leicester City declares Iheanacho fit for Leeds United clash, and it is still out. And of course, Modric rejects Real Madrid coaching offer. Do not forget that Modric was offered an assistant coaching role with Real Madrid by Carlo Ancelotti. But it's like this man, the former Ballon d'Or winner, wants to go and get some quits in Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah. So what I do think should happen, I think he has actually taken the right steps in the right direction. If you ask me, if he decides to take up the role given to him by Real Madrid as an assistant coach, he probably might not be able to achieve whatever he feels he wants to do in life right now. Modric has, gotten to the climax of his career, and he's beginning to wind down. So the next stop for him now is to think outside the box. What am I going to do? It's possible he wants to go to Saudi Arabia to get that oil money. It's also very possible you can't take it out of the picture. But regardless, maybe I feel he has his own objection, his own reservations why he has turned it down. Real Madrid is always an attractive destination to achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. But if look at Modric, who has been there for many years, saw the offer and he said no, then there is a reason for that.
All right, quite interesting, and of course, other headlines. PSG outlines budget for the young. Arsenal ended double injury boost for Porto clash. NTF invites 24 athletes to camp. Anthony Joshua warned Ngannou has improved, and that's coming from Cooper, and loads of other interesting, stories there. But let's leave that newspaper. That's the Sporting Sun now. I have with me here in the studio the Sporting Live. And of course, it's quite interesting to see some headlines coming up when it comes to the newspaper. By the masthead, we've got Anatovic Nets winner. And of course, that is the match between Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid. It ended 1-0. And of course, PSV and Dortmund. Luke de Jong rescues point for hosts. Remember, Dortmund scored first. And of course, we do have Haaland scores as champions, close gap on Liverpool. Finally, and of course it was a slim 1-0 win for Manchester City against Brentford, and in the Champions League we gave you the results already. The centers by the lower part of the newspaper Sporting Live, we've got Xavi who will stop Osimhen. Okay, let's see how far they can do. Says no favorites between Napoli and Barcelona. The Champions League final, the only good game in your career. That's coming from Hazard to our very own Mikel Obi. The Champions League final, the only good game in your career. A quick one, Pius. What's going on between these two?
Well, I don't know if John Obi Mikel and Eden Hazard have any kind of beef while they were together at Chelsea. But I don't really understand what's going on. John Obi Mikel had a fantastic season at Chelsea. He had a fantastic playing time, 11 years spent at Chelsea. And then Eden Hazard said the Champions League final was the best career he had at Chelsea. It could be way beyond what we are seeing in the public space. Maybe judging from what Eden Hazard have said now, it's very possible that these two guys, maybe they don't see eyeballs to eyeballs while they were together at Chelsea. I don't know. I've not dig deep to understand the rationale behind this statement, but there might be something, Brady. There might be something that I'm not privy to.
I think he was being sarcastic. Maybe he was on a show. You can get a copy of the Sporting Live to check the story. And I think the story emanated from soccernet.ng. And I think two of them were on the podcast. Maybe it was, taunting Mikel or something. I wouldn't think that he wanted, a war there. Okay. And of course, Manchester United, Arsenal joined Liverpool for Ederson. Chelsea joined Arsenal, Man U for Zirkzee race, and of course Algeria FA president furious at Pesaro. Storms Switzerland for another coach. Are you serious? Maybe Algeria's loss is Nigeria's gain. We'll find out. Liverpool interested in Gueye. Barca Atletico to battle for Greenwood. Man U hoping to sell striker for £34 million. Wow. Partey, Vieira resumed training. That's for Arsenal. We talked about that already. Fulham open to selling Paulinho. Akonji defends Eagles logo tattooed on his arm. It tattooed the Nigeria Football Federation logo, and of course he didn't come to play for Nigeria. So, as in, what are you trying to say? He
can't switch his allegiance anymore.
So maybe. That's quite interesting. Yeah. All right, that's the much you can take when it comes to the newspaper review segment, and of course you can grab any of the dailies to read more. We've been able to review the Sporting Sun and Sporting Live, on the show this morning. Many thanks for being part of it, and of course the show is still very much on, but we'll go on this quick break. When we return, we'll be discussing other issues for the day, and we'll be taking your phone calls.
African continent. She's from the beautiful, beautiful country. You know, I can't see anyone. Asisat Oshuala. Asisat Oshuala.
Best Woman Player of the Year from Nigeria. Congratulations. Dressed in her country's colors, the green and white. Congratulations.
Asisat Oshoala, joueuse africaine de
Asisat
l'année,
Oshoala,
qui reçoit son
Women's
trophée des
Player
mains de
of the
Monsieur
Year.
le Président.
I would love to thank everyone who's been part of my journey, from grassroots football to national level to club side. Because without you, my coaches, my teammates, there will be no me. Football is a team sport. It's a team game. And I will urge all the federations in Africa to please come together. Let's work together and build our continent. We have to work together as a team because football is a team sport. Let's start at home and go to the world and conquer it. Thank you very much, and God bless everyone.
Congratulations, Azizat,
Thank you.
for winning Woman Player of the Year, well-deserved trophy, of course, and a brilliant mind.
And
Goalkeepers
Nice.
Award.
my daughter, Chiamaka Madezie.
Chiamaka Nadozie from Nigeria is a big winner for Women's Goalkeeper of the Year. Congratulations. From the hand of a fellow Nigerian that has paved the way for her. Congratulations.
The winner is Nigeria.
Nigeria is a women's national team of the year.
Representative of the Nigerian Women's National Team. Winners of the National Team of the Year. Women's category.
Still very tuned to AM Sports, coming to your 90 Sports 24. And of course, I stay up with me, Pius Ndoko, in the studio. And in my introduction, I'll let you know that Pius is the media officer of Greenlock Football Club of Abuja. And of course, he will tell us, about that Baden club. So Pius, we had, the big weeks in the club on the show sometime in December. They promised us a lot of things. And we do know that you're going to have your debut campaign in the Nigeria Nationwide League One.
That's right.
In a couple of months from now. So tell us, how far so far with Greenlock FC?
Yeah, I must tell you confidently that the club is preparation is actually hotting up in the camp of Greenlock FC right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and let me also let you know that in the last few matches, they've played a couple of friendly matches, both intra-friendly matches between the teams, the players in camp, divided into two. They played against each other. But of course, outside that, we played teams like EFCC. We also played FWC, which we won FWC champions by a lone goal, then EFCC by 2-0. We'll still have a couple of other games that will be coming up very shortly. The team, as I speak to you right now, is gearing up towards the NLO, the one in the country, and part of the preparation is to have this team engage them in different kind of friendly games. We are also looking forward to, the team will be traveling very soon to Turkey on a tour, just to have that international experience as well. That's what the management has put together, and I must say kudos to them for how they are trying to give these players the kind of exposure that they need. And beside that, the management recently also gave out 28 boots to all 28 players in camp, brand new boots for the players. This is just to keep them focused, to avoid any form or sort of distractions that will be coming from any quarters at all. This is part of the build-up to the NLO to ensure that we have a very good and a very successful maiden appearance in the cradle of the Nigerian football, system.
All right, that's very much beautiful. And of course, Greenlock FC is a club that we do appreciate on this show. I'll be looking forward to seeing them do the great things they want to do, both in Nigeria and outside the shores of the country. All right, Pius, before we go to other matters of the day, let's know more. I want to know that final match.
Yes.
Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire at AFCON 2023. Going through the streets of Abidjan, as in how was it like being a Nigerian after losing the final?
Okay, so let me say this. I was in Abidjan. I actually traveled to Abidjan for the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Nigeria had already played the group stages. They had already played against Cameroon. Okay. So I traveled for the game against Angola. So when I got to Angola, the Ivorians, let me be honest with you, that they are very hospitable. They are very receptive, nice people, nice environment, beautiful city, and all of that. The only barrier we encountered was just the language barrier because they speak French. Beside that, when it comes for some of the residents that I was able to interact with that could speak a little bit of English, they said they are looking forward to having a Nigeria and Ivory Coast final. And that was when Ivory Coast defeated Senegal. So they were now confident that they have what it takes to play in the finals against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But they were very, very optimistic that the defeat they suffered in the hands of the Super Eagles in the group stages will not repeat itself when the two teams clash in the finals. That was what they said. Now let's get to the finals proper. Build up to it. When both teams have known their fates, they'll be facing each other. The home support was massive for the fans. I can tell you that the government of Cote d'Ivoire went almost around the streets of Abidjan, giving out jerseys to the residents, for fans to troop out in their numbers to come and support the Elephants.
Wow.
One thing that happened, they played a very good politics. They did everything to win that finals, and it worked out for them. Now, this is my own experience, personal experience. I don't know about other journalists that were there. I was there, and some other journalists too. We were at the Ebimpe Stadium. 2 hours before kickoff, we were already at the stadium. As at that time, the stadium has been it's filled to the brim already. Now they gave them an instruction to be letting people in gradually, little by little. So what we observed was that if one Nigerian gained access into the stadium, 10 Ivorians will be allowed to go in. So they started playing that politics. I didn't have access to the stadium, even with my accreditation. I didn't have access to the stadium. They refused to allow me enter. Myself, Omar Akatuba, Bada Akintade, and some other well-known journalists in Nigeria, we stayed outside. We didn't watch until the end of that game, when they blew the final whistle and they realized that they've won. They now relaxed the stringent measures around the gate, and then they now allowed us. That was when I was able to gain access to the pitch side. Now, one other thing that happened, these guys, for as much as they are very hospitable, they are also they are very addicted to supporting their football teams. They were not ready to take chances, and from the body language, from their countenance, they were going to attack Nigerians should Nigeria win. If Nigeria had won that game, they were almost going to attack. So when we got to a nearby viewing center, because when we realized that we are not going to gain entrance into the stadium, we got to a nearby viewing center. Getting there, Nigeria just scored, and the only thing I done on me was a face cap bearing a Nigerian, had the Nigerian inscription on it. That I will be easily picked out. So the moment that Nigeria scored, Trustekong scored that goal, my second said, he tapped me and said, remove your cap. I had to take it off immediately for safety's sake, because the fans were buzzing in anger, they were boiling in anger, they were hitting the whatever, the desk. Nobody broke bottles there, but it will definitely get to that point if they had lost. So to be on the safer side, we watched the moment the first half ended, we left. We just have to hang around the stadium gates again. So when they equalized, they still went, they were very fierce. They were throwing things, everything. I did a little bit of videos of how excited they were. And when they scored the winning goal, that was the height of it. So everything now would like. So at that point, we were praying for Nigeria to even lose, because it was almost going to turn bloody from what we experienced outside. It was not funny. They played the politics, both physically and anything. They played the politics. And that is why you could see that at the stadium on that finals, you could see everywhere was orange. The jersey I'm wearing now, one good thing about them is that when they lost to Nigeria, or no, when they won that final, somebody gave me this jersey. When I also got there, a friend, an Ivorian that I have, also demanded for a Nigerian jersey, so I gave him the Nigerian. So on the fight after the final, he now gave me this jersey. So that's what football does, one spirit. But the Ivorians were very resolute. That was what I saw. So orange, and it got to a point that Nigerians started wearing orange for safety's sake on the day of the final. They started wearing orange. If you observe very well, Nigerians were submerged. It was all orange. You could hardly find a green and white jersey at the stadium. So these were some of the things that played out. Kudos to them. They won eventually. But my bottom line here for me is that any competition, just pray that the host nation does not get to the final, so that we could have a very sane and a very safe final, should in case the host loses the final in third blood.
All right, it has happened, you know, we just have to move on. And they will say, why won't Nigeria also host theirs and win theirs and do all the politics they want to, play and all of that. But we've got limited time on the show today, but we're going to talk about one of the fallouts of AFCON 2023, and this time is about Coach Jose Peseiro. Being lured by the Algerian FA, and at times we do understand that there are politics too. Your agent can just cook up, a story that there's an offer somewhere to just fast track yours and all that.
Yeah, of course.
So do you think it would be a good idea for the Nigeria Football Federation to retain Jose Peseiro?
The opinions about Jose Peseiro, even right there in Cote d'Ivoire, opinions were divided about him. Some people said it's just a stroke of luck that he's been able to come out with these formations and he's been winning those matches up until the final. But then, how can you be lucky in the first game, second game, down to the sixth game, to the seventh game, maybe on the seventh game, you ran out of luck? I don't know. I'm indifferent about it. I just feel for consistency's sake, I feel what he has started, he should continue. By the time we're not getting it right anymore, maybe the Nigeria Football Federation can just decide to go. It's not always right for us to continue recycling coaches. This man has done well, whether we like it or not. They give him a target, a semi-finals target, which he exceeded. And for me, I think Jose Peseiro should still be in charge. If they want to bring in other coaches, maybe at the expiration of a new contract that should be given to Jose Peseiro.
All right, a very quick one before we continue on the show today. Let's quickly open the phone lines for just 5 minutes for you to be part of the show. And of course, the number to call will be on the screen, in a moment. And of course, it's 09074 016124 is right there on your screen. Talk to us on the show this morning. What do you feel about all the things we've been discussing? And do you think that the Super Eagles coach should stay or go? And do not forget that he's got some offers on his table at the moment, so he's not without any offer. Of course, let's quickly talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They have a date with should I say bitter rivals and familiar foes.
Yes, they are.
That's the indomitable lionesses of Cameroon.
That's right.
Do you see Nigeria scaling through? Okay, I think we have a caller, please. Pius. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Emo Juma. I'm calling from Ilorin.
Oh, thank you for calling us from Ilorin today. So, what's your contribution, please?
Well, I give kudos to the journalist that is over here. This is analysis is experienced toward the last game that he played and Africa something. So what I'm saying is that I just want to give idea. In case of next time you have to solve the thing because in those countries they have more supporter and at the same time what happens on that very day that the experience of that journalist, what happened is very something that is unexpected because assuming Nigeria win that match on that very day, you know what the experience of that journalist, what can happen, maybe it can cause the blood. So my advice that in case of next time any host country getting to the final, is better you relocate the final match to the nearest country so that to avoid that that kind of incident that is likely to happen after the final because eventually Nigeria won that match. Something negative can happen. So that is my support, my view. At the same time, there's no need to sack our coach. You can still give him the opportunity to see coaching the team because I think he tried get to the final. I think you can give him the opportunity to continue the coaching the that is my.
All right, thank you so much. Beautiful contribution. Thank you for calling on the show this morning. We do appreciate it. Thank you. All right, umpires, just like he rightly said, but one thing is that's just Cote d'Ivoire, we're just in the West. Mm-hmm. What if it was in a country in North Africa and you were playing a final in their home ground? Just forget it, because there will be flares and everything. They score one goal, everywhere is in flames and all that. The passion in North Africa, is something that you can't compare anything to it. So I think Cote d'Ivoire, they will just tell you that was a small thing. It was quite beautiful. So let's quickly talk about the three Ospreys for the Premier League title. Manchester City, they won their game, and now they're on 56 points. Mm-hmm. Liverpool with about 8 players injured, they're on 57 points. Mm-hmm. Arsenal with 55. Just 2 points, within these three teams.
The EPL has always been like this. I mean, it's always very competitive, and one team has remained very the three teams on the table, chasing after themselves, they've been very consistent in the last 5-6 years or thereabouts, coming very close. I think Manchester City has won this league back to back on several occasions from the moment Sir Alex Ferguson left. Manchester City started dominating the EPL. From that time up until the last season, they were the most dominant force. So you could see that sometimes when they are not having it all well, but somehow in the end, they'll still end up winning the league. The only team that has won it in between could be Liverpool. Was just Liverpool. Other than that, it's been City. So Arsenal will need to go the extra mile. The same thing applies to Liverpool if they want to win it. But with the way it's going, just look at the points difference. Who said that Pep Guardiola is going to take his foot off the pedal? The other two managers, Arteta and Klopp, will have to devise other means to be able to outwit Manchester City from winning it for a record 4th time consecutively. Other than that, it might be difficult.
All right, we need to go, but let's take our last call on the show. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Godfrey Littell from previously Bauchi State.
Oh, thank you for calling us from Bauchi. What's your contribution, please?
Yeah, my contribution is all down to the Super Eagles for being able to do it to the final qualification of the AFCON.
Okay. All right.
So please, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for calling. We do appreciate. You know, so glad to hear from Nigerians who are just very much grateful to the Super Eagles for making them happy up to the final match. Pius, many thanks for coming on the show, but your closing thoughts, and of course this time around is going to be about Nigerians attacking some of the players after the AFCON.
Oh no, I think it should be totally condemned. It's not right for us to do that as Nigerians. I mean, these guys, they come out every day, they put their body on the line to ensure that they bring glory to this country. And so when they tend not to do well, football is a team sport. So you just don't pick out an individual and say that he is responsible for this and that. Who said that the other team doesn't want to win as well? You win by the mistake that the other team probably might have done. And that is why. So if we also make mistakes and our opponent wins, I mean, it doesn't call for the kind of trolls or insults they are hauling at the player. So we should totally discourage that, and such people that comes up with those things should be fished out and be treated accordingly. Many thanks, Pius. You couldn't have put it any better. Thank you for coming on the show today. So always interesting to have you, and of course your apt analysis, everything is always what we enjoy on the show when you come. Thank you so much. All right, that's AM Sports, the midweek edition. We want to thank you for being part of it, and we urge you to join us again on Friday for the last edition for the week. And of course, there will be much time by that time to pick your calls and talk more. On behalf of everyone from our base here at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium here in Abuja, I'm Badi Adeleye saying good morning and thank you for joining us.
The motorcyclist in blue is a horrible cheater. Romano Fenati was renowned for dirty tricks on the track, including kicking, screaming, and even pulling out his opponent's kill switch. This is about to be one of the closest finishes in men's hurdles history, but I think one runner wants the win just that little bit more. Can you spot which one? V8s plus a wet track equals the granddaddy of all spinouts. He might have lost the race, but at least if his career as a driver doesn't pan out, you can always take a shot at ballet. Personally, if I had a coach like Shia LaBeouf yelling inspirational quotes at me, I'd probably be a better athlete. But if we're being honest, I don't think it helped this diver out at all. After running the fastest half marathon in London's history, Robert Mabithy was taken out by the final boss, the finish line tape. After this long tennis rally, the ball boy just wanted to do his job. What did he get in return? Crash tackled. Luckily, he was fine, even getting a standing ovation from the crowd. Sometimes you see your moment and you gotta shoot your shot, like this kid spotted in the background. He's about to steal this player's thunder, who looks more than a little unimpressed. You only need two things to compete in the Winter Olympic skeleton race: a fast run-up and to land straight on your sled. Guess which one she forgot?
Oh, hi, Mark.
There's three things you need as an ice hockey player: your skates, a helmet, and your stick. It doesn't help when your opposition takes one of them. It's not just athletes that find themselves falling over during matches. This cameraman should have looked where he was going. Instead, we get a nice view of the shoes he's wearing. Somewhere in between strike and take a walk to first is this softball pitch, which ended up firmly wedged in this girl's helmet. This innocent back pass is a routine move practiced endlessly at training. And good news, the goalie is watching and paying attention. Only this happens. I wonder who's getting cut next week. Dunks in basketball are 99% guaranteed to go in. The clue is in the name. Despite this, accidents happen, and Russell Westbrook was convinced there was something wrong with the ring when he missed his.